Hello everyone and welcome to today's lesson. Today we're going to be making a way to die and a game over screen, which means we're going to be doing a little bit more coding for collision detection, and then we're also going to jump into scene management today, which scene management is basically moving from level to level. So with that being said, the first thing I'd like you to do is go to your project folder, scenes, and then click, for you it probably says sample scene right now. I'd like you to hit F2 and rename it to level 1. Okay, because that's what the name is going to be and we're going to need that later. So now what we want to do, we have two options for creating a way of dying. Actually we have several, but the main two that we could use that would be easy to code would be to make it if our player's Y value is less than a certain number, say down here, less than say -6, then he would die. That is probably the most code efficient way to do it. The second option, and what we're going to do today, is we're going to put an object on the bottom, and if he touches the object, it's going to kill him. And this is a little bit more versatile. So I want to go to Project Art, and I'm going to open up our little platforms set right here. Boop. And I'm going to take out one. I'm going to go ahead and take this little brown bar right here, but you can take whatever you'd like. We're going to drop it into here, and then it's called Platform 4 in our hierarchy. I'm going to click on it, I'm going to press F2, and I'm going to name it Death Bar. Capital D, capital B. And then in our inspector over here, we're going to increase its size, and we want to make it to be bigger than the level. Remember, when you're doing boundaries, make it bigger than you expect the player to be able to get to, because inevitably someone will find a way to jump over it or jump outside of it. So overcompensate in this scenario. So if I hit 10, you can see it's not really big enough. So if I try 30, let's check there. It's a little bit bigger than our level. I'm going to go ahead and make it 40. There we go. Now it's a lot bigger than our level there. And now the way we're going to do this is we're going to test to see if our player here, if he touches this, it's going to bring us to our game over screen. So one thing I recommend, it is possible that if he has enough velocity, if he's falling quick enough, at one frame he's here, the second frame he's here. This probably won't happen, but just in case it does, I'm going to go ahead and make the Y of our death bar 4 big. The next thing we want to do is, if this is spikes or fire or something like that, then you can just leave it visible. But given that this is kind of just an invisible death, kind of like Mario falling, in a cliff, we're going to go to our sprite render in our inspector on our death bar. And then we're going to change the alpha down here, the A, the transparency. We're going to put it at 0. So you can see it slowly disappears. That's what we want. And then I'm going to scroll down to add component, and I'm going to add a box collider 2D. Again, because we're working in 2D. Now you can see that box collider is that whole way there. That's pretty much what we want. Just in case you have other things falling down, for example, if you have coins or enemies that fall off the map, we're going to make this a trigger. So we want things to be able to fall through it, except for the player. We want him to die whenever he touches it. I'm going to go ahead and hit Control and S because I just saved there. Now, again, we could put this on our player, or we could put it on our death bar. So I'm going to open up player movement. And down here on our void collision enter 2D, we're going to go a little bit below this. Okay, and as this is a trigger and not a regular collider, we need to have void on trigger enter 2D. It's going to fill that in for us, and as I said several times, I like to have this as other. So we'll put other there, and the private you can leave or not. It will have the same effect. And I've actually decided I'd like to make this a tag. So let's go ahead and go into our death bar. This way we'll be able to have many death bars. So I'm going to click add tag. I'm going to click plus, and I'm going to call this death marker. Sounds good to me. And then I'm going to click on my death bar, and I'm going to make it turn it into death marker. Then we're going to go back into our coding. Sorry, I have classes that I was teaching today up here. Okay, we're going to say if other dot game object dot compare tag parentheses depth marker. Then we're going to say we're going to use a scene management code. So the first thing we need to do is go back up to our top here. This is for the first time we're going to add a different using tag. So we're going to open up access to new keywords. We're going to use using Unity Engine dot scene management and then a semicolon. By the way, anything that is grayed out means it's not currently being used, and anything that is brighter means it is being used. So in a second you'll see the top one is going to turn bright. We're going to say we're going to say scene manager dot load scene game over. And then we're going to hit save. So now whenever you touch this thing here, anything with the depth marker actually, it's going to send us to the game over scene, but we don't have a game over scene yet. So the thing I want to do, so now we actually need to create the scene. So right now we only have one. Let's hit Control S here to save. So I'm going to go to Project Scenes, and then I'm going to click on level 1. I'm going to press Control D to duplicate it. And then where it says level 1, I'm going to press F2, and I'm going to rename it Game Over, capital G, capital O. Then I'm going to double click on my Game Over screen. And whenever you do that, of course, since we duplicated, it's going to look the same. But if it says Game Over right here, we're in the right spot. So go ahead and delete everything except your background 1 and your player. BGM you can keep as well. Okay. And then inside of our player, just go ahead and get the main camera, drag it outside, and then delete the player. So we just want our background music, our forest, and our main camera. So I'm going to go to File, Build Settings, and right now we only have one scene in the game. When you build this project, when you turn it into a usable file so you can give to your friends or whoever, it's only going to build the scenes that are in here, and right now only scene level 1. So I'm going to click on Add Open Scene. You can also drag scenes from here over into here. This deleted, don't worry about it. I filmed this once before, and that's from a previous time when I deleted it, so don't worry about it. So you just need level 1 and game over. The order doesn't matter so much, except the first one in the build will be what the game will start on. So you're always going to want your title screen or your main screen to be the first one. Okay. And so I'm going to hit save. Now a couple things I want to do to create some mood here is I'm going to turn this a little darker, kind of a red tinge, not super dark, not super red, but just kind of a red tinge, maybe even purple. Yeah, purplish red. So if you have a dark color, it's going to create a dark mood, right? Bright colors create a bright mood. And then on our BGM, right now it's playing quickly. So if I turn pitch, I mentioned before, low pitch is going to be sad and high pitch is going to be happier. So we're going to put it at 0.6 or something. So we're going to make the mood darker. We're going to make the music a little slower. Everyone's going to feel like, oh, I died. And it's going to create kind of a good atmosphere there. So I'm going to now right click. I'm going to go to Create Empty. On this new game object, I'm going to hit F2, and we're going to name it Game Over Text. And then in our Add Component, I'm going to go ahead and click Text Mesh. And do keep in mind, I don't know why it does this, but when you create text meshes, it very often puts the Z at negative something. Make sure it's at 0 or 1 in general, the position Z. Because if not, it's going to appear behind the camera. If it's more than -10, usually the camera starts at -10. So if it's more than -10, it's going to be behind, or I guess, yeah, behind the camera, so you won't be able to see it. So do keep in mind. Okay, so the first thing we want to do in the text in the text mesh here, where it says text, we're going to write game over, or you can write you've croaked or you've hopped your last hop, or whatever frog-related pun really speaks to you. You choose that one. So now there's several things we want to do here. One thing, if you notice right now, if I click outside, you can see it. This is really blurry and looks really bad. And we're going to fix that by increasing our character size, or sorry, decreasing the character size. So it's 0.05 and increasing our font size, I say 250. Now that looks so much more crisp. That looks so much better. So we want to do a couple other things. I like to align my font to upper center and center. I'm going to drag it over in here. And I gave you guys some font files, and Unity will automatically find them if it's within your asset. So you can choose 8-bit or spooky. 8-bit, I think we're going to go with because this feels like an 8-bit game. Then I'm going to change this to like maybe a dark green, something that kind of goes with the theme of our game. And that actually I don't think looks so good. It blends in a little too much. So I'm going to try, let's try orange. How does that look? Still kind of blends in. Let's try blue here. There. I like that. The blue, light blue on dark blue. I like that. And I believe that's everything we need for that. Yeah, you can adjust the font size to whatever you think is good. Make sure it's inside this white square here, because that's the camera, if you remember. Then I'm going to hit Control and S. So now I'm going to go back to our level 1. If I go to Project Scenes, double click on level 1 to open that up, and I hit play. Nothing happened. Death marker is not defined. Okay, so we got a little error there. And so what I'm going to have to do is go into here. Remember, I need to make it the exact same. I put capitals. Bad me. Bad me. Okay. Now everything should be fine. Do get in the habit of reading these error tags in the console, because it'll help you learn a lot, and you'll eventually be able to fix problems yourself. All right, and now you can see the music when it's slow. It has more of a sad feeling. Okay, and that is going to finish us up for the day. I'll see you next time.